Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to welcome you all today. We're about to embark on a journey exploring a truly inspiring story. The title of our presentation is The Army Wife, A Love Beyond Identity. Today, we'll delve into what makes this love so powerful and unique, beyond just the role or the title. We'll look at the challenges, the resilience, and the deep connection that defines this experience. So, let's get started and discover the extraordinary story behind this love. Now, moving on to part one that we've already covered, I want to give you a brief recap. Nisha has been a trans woman since she was 13 years old. She started cross-dressing and dating men both online and outside. When she tried to tell her parents, they didn't understand and thought it was just a phase. They decided to send her, then known as Sushant, to military school, thinking that would make her a man. But by now, Nisha knew she was a girl. Despite that, she was a true patriot at heart and dreamed of serving her country. She believed that joining the Indian Army could help her find her identity and fulfill her dream. However, fate had different plans. She met cadet Vikram, who became her roommate and later her love interest. As you saw in the first video, their relationship faced a harsh reality when the dean caught them being intimate. Because the Indian Army doesn't recruit transgenders, Nisha was rusticated. Her parents couldn't cope with this either. They disowned her and decided to settle her in Sydney, Australia, severing all ties. That's a quick summary of part one. Now, let's move forward to part two, where Nisha not only built her life in Sydney but did so with incredible resilience and success. She excelled academically, built a strong career, made friends, traveled, and developed a deep sense of self-worth. Yet, despite everything, her accomplishments, her independence, her heart longed for Vikram. Many men approached her, but she rejected all of them. She chose not to undergo surgery to have a female sex organ, because her ultimate goal was to stay a virgin for Vikram. Her love for him was that profound. And now, in part three, Nisha finally reunites with Vikram during her brief trip to India. Their reunion is emotional, intense, and very romantic. They spend quality time together at NDA Pune, sharing a candlelight dinner and reconnecting on a level stronger than ever before. Her maternal instincts also kick in as she forms a bond with Vikram's son, Arjun, treating him as her own child. So, what's next? Will Nisha finally take the step to fully become a woman through surgery now that Vikram is back in her life? Will she marry him and embrace motherhood with Arjun? Or will life surprise her with something she never expected? Keep watching as the story unfolds to discover what destiny has in store for her. As the days passed, things were different now. It wasn't like before. Every morning I started my day with his message, and every night his voice was the last thing I heard. The calls, the video chats, the laughter, even the silences, they all felt so natural, so effortless. It was like we had found a rhythm that just worked. One evening, I was sitting on my couch after work, staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. I had perfect makeup, perfect hair, a perfect life on the surface. But beneath all that, something deeper was stirring. I felt a need to ask him something that had been weighing on me. During our call that night, I hesitated for a moment before speaking. I asked him, "Vikram, can I ask you something?" He responded simply, "Anything." And then I gathered my courage and asked, "Do you ever feel that we lost too much time?" He exhaled slowly, and I could hear the weight of his response. He said, "Yes, but maybe we needed that time to come back like this." His words softened my heart. I admitted, I stopped myself so many times, so many men, so many chances. I paused, feeling vulnerable. He stayed silent, listening intently. I continued, "I could have moved on, but I didn't. I couldn't." My voice trembled slightly as I asked gently, "Why?" His response was gentle but honest. "You already know," he said, and I knew he was right. Then I asked, "And you?" There was a pause, a quiet moment between us before his voice came back, heavier now. "I tried, I lived. I even built a life," he said, and I felt a little tightening in my chest. But he went on, "But I never felt what I felt with you." Silence filled the space, but I realized it wasn't empty silence, it was full of unspoken emotion. That night our conversation grew softer, deeper, more intimate. Vikram's words carried a weight of sincerity. He said, "Nisha, I don't want to lose you again." I closed my eyes, feeling the truth in his voice. I promised, you won't. And for the first time, that promise didn't just sound like hope, it felt like truth. Life in Sydney continued, work, friends, weekends, laughter, everything that made her days full and vibrant. But beneath it all, something was beginning to shift. One afternoon, during a casual lunch with her friends, someone made a joke. You need a boyfriend, Nisha, you can't stay single forever. She smiled but didn't respond, because for the first time she didn't feel incomplete. That evening, alone in her room, she stood in front of the mirror, her reflection looking back at her. She saw confidence, beauty, a sense of being complete. Yet there was one truth she had been holding back: her body, her final step. She slowly placed her hand on her stomach, then lower, her expression softening. She whispered to herself, I waited only for you. Just then her phone buzzed. Vikram. She picked up. Nisha, his voice came through, warm as always. What are you doing? She smiled faintly and replied, thinking. About, he asked gently. She took a deep breath and said it, about my life. About us, about what comes next. There was a pause, then his voice softened. I'm listening. Her voice lowered, almost a whisper. I think I'm ready. For what? He prompted. Her eyes closed, heart steady, decision made. To move forward completely. Another pause, then his voice, deeper, more emotional, asked, Are you sure? Yes, she answered. And in that moment, Nisha knew her past had shaped her, her pain had built her, her love had waited. And now she was ready to take the next step. Not alone, but with him. The decision stayed with her. It didn't fade the next morning. It didn't weaken with time. If anything, it grew stronger. Nisha sat at her office desk, staring at her laptop screen, but her mind was far away. Thailand, doctors, surgery, a new beginning. Her fingers tapped lightly on the table. This is it, she whispered to herself, no more waiting. That evening, she opened her laptop again, but this time with purpose. Search tabs filled the screen. Gender reassignment surgery Thailand, best surgeons, recovery time, risks. Each click brought her closer. Each word made it more real. Her heart raced, but she didn't stop. A name stood out, a clinic, renowned, trusted. She leaned back, taking a deep breath. If I do this, she murmured, there's no going back. Her phone buzzed. Vikram. She smiled instantly and picked up. Hey, she said warmly, missed you today. Busy day, she replied softly, hiding the storm inside her. Take care of yourself, he said, don't stress too much. Her eyes softened. If only he knew. I will, she whispered. She didn't tell him yet, not now, because this was going to be a surprise, a gift for him, for them. That night she confirmed her first consultation. Her hands trembled as she clicked book. And just like that, the path was set. Days turned into preparation. Medical reports, consultations, assessments, all of it moved so fast. Too fast, in fact. Sitting in front of the specialist during an online consultation, I listened carefully. The doctor explained, this is a major procedure. You need to be mentally, physically, and emotionally ready. I nodded, feeling the weight of those words. I am, I assured her. Then she asked gently, why now? I paused for a moment, then answered honestly, because I'm not waiting anymore. But deep inside, I knew the real reason. The truth was Vikram. Every step I was taking was leading me closer to him. That night during our call, he smiled at me through the screen. You look different these days, he said. I blinked, curious. Different how? I asked. He replied softly, happy and glowing. My heart skipped a beat. I whispered, maybe I am. Then he teased, tell me the reason. I smiled and said softly, not yet. Secrets. He laughed gently. Secrets, he said. Yes, I whispered, a beautiful one. He didn't push, and I appreciated that trust. That trust made everything even more emotional for me, but I wasn't free from fear. Late at night, alone in my room, I sat curled up on my bed, whispering to myself, what if something goes wrong? The doubt crept in. What if? My voice broke, and I hugged myself tightly. But then I said firmly, no, I've come too far. And somewhere between fear and desire, I found my courage. That moment, I realized, was a turning point, choosing courage despite the fear. So the ticket was booked, Sydney to Thailand at the end of 2022. To everyone else, it was just a holiday, a break, a trip. But for her, it was everything. It represented more than just travel. It symbolized a new beginning, a moment of decision. At work, she casually mentioned, I'll be on leave for a few weeks. Personal trip. Her friends were excited and said, Thailand, lucky you, she smiled, but if only they knew what this trip truly meant to her. That night she called Vikram. She told him, I'll be traveling for some time. Curious, he asked, where? She replied casually, Thailand. He guessed, vacation. She teased a little, work deputation, kind of. His response was warm, take care, he said softly. Call me whenever you can. She whispered, I will. Then there was a pause and he added, I miss you. Her eyes closed. She responded, I miss you too, more than he could ever imagine right now. The day of departure finally arrived. At the airport, she paused for a moment, bag in hand, heart steady. She whispered to herself, this is it. Her reflection in the glass looked back at her, strong, ready, cert. She softly said, I'm coming back, complete. The flight was called, and as she stepped forward, she wasn't running from her past anymore. She wasn't waiting for her future. Instead, she was choosing it for herself, for her love, for the life she had always dreamed of. This moment marks the beginning of her journey. Chapter 33. The journey begins. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes we need to take that leap, to make a choice that aligns with our true desires and aspirations. Thailand welcomed her with warmth, but Nisha barely noticed. Her mind was focused, sharp, unshakable. The hospital was pristine, quiet, almost too calm for what she was about to go through. As she sat in the consultation room, the doctor reviewed her reports once more. You are fully prepared, he said, looking at her reassuringly. Physically and hormonally, your body has responded very well over the years. This will be a smooth transition. Transition. The word echoed differently this time. Not social, not emotional, but physical, final. Nisha nodded slowly. I'm ready. Forms were signed, procedures explained, risks acknowledged. That night, alone in her hospital room, she lay staring at the ceiling. Her hand rested gently over her body. This is the last night, she whispered, like this. Memories flooded her mind. Sushant, Nisha, Vikram, every version of herself she had lived. Her eyes softened. I did it, she murmured. I survived everything. Her phone lay beside her. A message from Vikram blinked. Reached safely, call me when free. Her fingers hovered over the screen. She wanted to tell him everything, but she didn't. Instead, she typed, yes, reached, busy with work here, will call soon. She placed the phone aside, closed her eyes, and whispered one last time, this is for you. Vikram. Morning came, bright, unforgiving. As she was wheeled into the operation theater, her heartbeat was steady, not fearful, not hesitant, certain. The lights above blurred as she was moved inside. Voices faded, machines hummed, and just before the anesthesia took over, a single name escaped her lips. Vikram. Darkness followed. Time lost meaning, hours, days, moments. When Nisha opened her eyes, everything felt distant, heavy, different. There was pain, yes, but underneath it there was something else, completion. She blinked slowly, trying to adjust to the light. The nurse leaned in gently and said, welcome back, everything went well. Her lips parted slightly. Nisha whispered, done. The nurse smiled and reassured her, yes, you're perfectly fine. Instantly, tears rolled down her temples, silent, unstoppable. She didn't move because deep inside she knew it was over. The days of recovery followed, slow and careful, sometimes painful, but every discomfort felt worth it. Then she stood for the first time after surgery and looked at herself in the mirror, carefully, almost afraid. But her breath caught, not from fear. There was no hesitation, no confusion, no incompleteness, just her. Her fingers trembled as they touched her reflection. She whispered, I'm complete. And in that moment, every struggle of her life felt justified. Later that day, she picked up her phone and Vikram's messages filled the screen. Busy. Miss you. Call me when free. She smiled through tears and whispered, soon. She wanted him to see, to feel, to experience this moment with her, not just through words, but through reality. Weeks passed and her healing progressed beautifully. The doctors were satisfied, saying, you've recovered very well, just take care. And you're good to go. Good to go. She smiled and thought, yes, I am. This chapter marks her rebirth, the moment she reclaimed herself, her body, her spirit. It's a testament to resilience, healing, and the profound sense of being complete again. In March 2023, I found myself in Sydney, stepping out of the airport and feeling something entirely new in the air. It was lighter, warmer, and genuinely welcoming. I adjusted my hair, feeling a different kind of confidence, something natural, not practiced or forced. The cab ride home was almost surreal. Every reflection in the window reminded me I wasn't the same anymore. I had crossed a final line, a threshold into a new version of myself. At home, I stood in front of the mirror again. The same mirror, the same room, but I saw a completely different woman looking back. Then my phone rang. It was Vikram. I answered. Finally, he exclaimed, teasing me about my work trip. I smiled softly and replied, "Yes, I'm back." He asked how it was. I paused, took a soft breath, and softly said, "Life-changing." He wanted to know everything immediately, but I gently shook my head, though he couldn't see it, and said, "Not like this." He pressed, "Then how?" My eyes softened, a faint smile appeared, and I whispered, "I'll show you." There was silence, then his voice lowered a bit. "That sounds dangerous." I laughed softly, acknowledging that it might be. Days passed, and everything around me had shifted. My confidence was evident in my walk, my voice carried a new softness, and my presence felt undeniable. People noticed, compliments increased, attention followed. Yet at my core, I remained grounded and focused. There was only one truth anchoring me: Vikram. Fast forward to his birthday in 2024, I finally made a decision. I did a video call. I saw his smile and heard him say, "Nisha, miss you." I adjusted the camera, heart pounding. This was it. I asked, "Ready?" He asked back, "For what?" I took a deep breath and slowly revealed myself, fully, confidently, without fear. There was silence. His expression changed: shock, emotion, disbelief. He whispered, "Nisha," voice breaking, "You." I smiled gently and said, "Yes." He asked if I had done this for us. I softly confirmed, "For us." His eyes filled instantly with emotion. "You're perfect," he said. And in that moment, I felt everything change. There was no distance, no past, no incompleteness, only love, stronger than ever before. The days following that revelation truly changed everything between them. From that moment on, there was no hesitation anymore. No more distance, no more what-ifs. Vikram's perspective shifted completely. He looked at her differently, no longer with curiosity or confusion, but with certainty. One evening during their call, he quietly told her, "Nisha, I'm done waiting." Her heart skipped a beat and she froze slightly. She asked softly, "What do you mean?" Vikram continued, "I want you in my life, not like this. Not over calls, not across countries." There was silence, that beautiful, heavy silence that says so much. Then he said, "I want you as my wife." Her breath caught in her throat, and for a moment it felt like the world stood still. She whispered, "Vikram." Her eyes filling with emotion, "Are you serious?" He replied firmly, "I've never been more serious. I've lost you once. I'm not going to lose you again." Tears streamed down her cheeks uncontrollably, pure and raw. She finally managed to say, almost breathless, "Yes, yes, Vikram." That night, they didn't need to talk much. Everything had been said. From that moment, plans started to take shape, slowly, carefully. Vikram shared his dreams of introducing her to his parents, of bringing her home, of building a future together. And for the first time, Nisha allowed herself to dream fully, without fear, without hesitation. Yet, as we all know, destiny had one more challenge waiting for them. On April 22nd, 2025, in Kashmir, specifically in Pahalgam, a place known for its breathtaking beauty, tranquility, and serenity, something horrifying happened. What was once a peaceful paradise turned into a scene of horror. A brutal terrorist attack targeting innocent Indian tourists. Families, husbands, wives, everyone was caught in this chaos. Blood was spilled, screams echoed through the mountains, and chaos took over. Men were dragged out, shot, and killed right in front of their loved ones. Women were left behind, broken, humiliated, widowed, their lives forever changed. The news spread rapidly across India and around the world. I remember watching it on my screen, frozen, horrified. I whispered, "Oh my God," covering my mouth, overwhelmed by the inhumanity of it all. Suddenly, my phone rang. Vikram was on the line. His face was different, angry, furious, pained. He said, This cannot go unanswered." I tried to calm him, saying, "Vikram, please stay safe." But he snapped back. "They killed innocent people, Nisha, right in front of their families. Do you understand what that means?" Tears welled up in my eyes. I whispered, "I do, but I can't lose you." There was a pause, and I saw a softer expression on his face. He assured me, "You won't, I promise." But deep down, I knew promises made during war often meant nothing. Days later, India responded. We launched Operation Sindoor, a name that carried immense pain and symbolism. It was a tribute to the women whose Sindoor had been wiped away, an act of defiance and remembrance. Vikram led a key unit in this operation. Before leaving, he called me. He said softly, "Nisha." If anything, I cut him off instantly, my voice trembling. Don't say it." I begged him. "I have to believe you'll come back, you have to." He responded gently, "I will for you." And then the call ended. I was left staring at a blank screen, praying, for the first time in years, hopping for his safety, holding onto that fragile hope that we would see each other again. The operation was intense, relentless, precise. Indian forces pushed forward with strategic, powerful, and unstoppable momentum. As a result, enemy lines broke and terror bases were destroyed. India won, but of course victory always comes with a cost. Then a call came, not from Vikram, but from one of his army mates. The voice was urgent. "Ma'am, Major Vikram Khanna has been injured. He's in Army Hospital, Srinagar." In that moment, everything collapsed for her. The world seemed to fall away. She stammered, No. Her phone slipped from her hand and her body followed. Darkness enveloped her. When she regained consciousness, her heart was pounding violently. She gasped, grabbing her phone with trembling hands. Relief flooded her. Vikram was alive, injured but alive. That was enough. Without hesitation, she whispered, "I'm coming." Already packing and moving without thinking, no proper plans, no pauses, just chaos and flights. Nothing mattered except reaching Kashmir. When she finally arrived, the cold air hit her face as she rushed into the army hospital. Her eyes searched desperately. And then she saw him, weak, bandaged, but alive on the bed. Her legs gave way slightly with relief crashing over her like a storm. She softly whispered, "Vikram," walking toward him slowly. His eyes opened, and at the moment he saw her, a faint smile appeared. He said weakly, "You came." Tears streamed down her face. She held his hand tightly and said, "Of course I came, I'm not going anywhere." And in that moment, her personal war ended. Because the only battle that truly mattered was right there, alive, breathing, and still hers. As we look at this poignant moment, we see days passing inside the army hospital in Srinagar, but for Nisha, time seems to have stopped. She barely leaves Vikram's side, doing everything like a wife, adjusting his blanket, helping him sit, quietly feeding him. Yet she hasn't even claimed the title of wife. One evening, Vikram, watching her carefully as she arranges his medicines, softly calls her name. She responds softly, not looking up, and he gently tells her she didn't have to do all this. She pauses, then looks at him with calm, steady eyes and simply says, "I know, but I want to." There's a silence, a moment of connection where he seems to memorize her face. He then points out that she came all the way, left everything for him. She smiles faintly and says, "Not everything, I came to my everything." That statement shifts the entire mood. Vikram's breath catches, and that night the room is filled with silence, broken only by the soft beeping of medical machines. Then he calls her again, his voice deeper, more serious. She turns to him, concerned, rushing to help him sit straighter, but he holds her hand and stops her. Looking directly into her eyes, he slowly asks, "Nisha, will you marry me?" In that moment, everything freezes, her heart stops, then races with overwhelming emotion. She whispers his name, pointing out that he's in a hospital, but he gently responds that he's still waiting for her answer. Tears fill her eyes instantly. Vikram continues, explaining that he's waited years, lost her once, found her again, and now he's not risking losing her again. Overcome, she shakes her head slightly, tears flowing, whispering, "You idiot, this is not how proposals happen." He smiles faintly and gently urges her to say yes, promising they can do it properly later. She laughs through tears and softly agrees, "Yes, Vikram." And just like that, without rings, rituals, or witnesses, they become forever. This quiet proposal embodies so much: timeless love, deep commitment, and the idea that sometimes the most meaningful moments happen in silence, especially when words are insufficient to express what's in our hearts. After Vikram's recovery, he was given a leave to return home to New Delhi. But this moment was more than just going back to his house in Gurugram. As he and Nisha approached his home, a grand, powerful bungalow. You could feel the weight of what it represented. For Vikram, it was a symbol of acceptance, a place where he belonged. But for Nisha, it was also more complex. It was a test of her place in his life, a symbol of rejection or acceptance. Vikram glanced at her and asked, "Ready?" She took a deep breath, showing her calm and resolve, then nodded. "Yes," she said softly. The doors opened, and there they saw his parents standing silently, watching them closely, observing every detail. Nisha stepped inside with grace, every movement filled with elegance and composure. She greeted them politely with a namaste, and they responded, their eyes still scanning her. Then Arjun, Vikram's younger brother, ran out happily, shouting, "Nisha, auntie!" Nisha instantly bent down, hugging him tenderly, whispering, "My baby," in a soft, loving tone. That simple act marked a turning point. Everyone saw it. They saw the bond, the genuine connection, the love that had always been there, waiting beneath the surface. Later, over tea, they engaged in polite, measured conversations, but the real moment came when Vikram finally spoke up. He looked at his parents and said clearly, "Ma, Papa, I want to marry Nisha." The room fell silent. His parents exchanged a glance, processing what they'd just heard. Then his father responded slowly, "Is she the same girl from your school?" Vikram froze, caught in the moment. Before he could respond, Nisha stepped forward confidently and said, "Yes, Uncle, I am." All eyes turned to her. She didn't hesitate. She continued, "We loved each other then, we never stopped. Life separated us, but it brought us back together." Her voice was steady, unwavering, showing her strength and conviction. She went on, "I've lived my life alone, built myself into who I am today, and I stand here without shame or fear." The room grew heavy with emotion. Tears welled in his mother's eyes as she stood up, walking toward Nisha, holding her hands gently. "Don't say you're alone," she whispered softly. "From today, you are our daughter." In that moment, all the pain, years of abandonment, loneliness began to dissolve. Nisha broke down, whispering, "Mummy." Her heart was overwhelmed with relief and love. Vikram's father nodded slowly, affirming their acceptance. "We are proud of you," he said quietly. And just like that, she found her home, her place, her family, her acceptance. The wedding was truly grand, lavish and beautiful. Nisha stood as a bride, not just complete, but feeling fulfilled. Vikram was right beside her, strong, proud, and certain. Arjun was in between them, smiling and happy. Everything just felt right in that moment. After the wedding, they traveled to Sydney, her world, her life. She showed him everything, her home, her city, her journey. I remember her softly saying, "This is where I rebuilt myself." He looked around, taking it all in, then turned to her and said, "You did more than that." That moment marked a new chapter. They spent days together exploring, laughing, living. Nisha made some big decisions. She resigned from her job, served her notice, and closed that chapter. Her house was put on rent, her life was reorganized. One evening, sitting beside Vikram, she asked, "What about my purpose?" He smiled, and I could see he'd been waiting for her to ask that. She looked at him, curious. Continued, "You wanted to serve the country, right?" Her eyes lit up instantly. "Yes," she whispered, and he said, "You still can," he explained, "as an army wife." She froze for a moment. Then he added, "We have associations, wives who support soldiers, families, widows, children. You can lead, guide, even train kids." Her eyes widened with hope. "Really?" she whispered. "Yes," he smiled warmly, "it's never too late." Tears filled her eyes again. She said softly, "You solved everything." And laughed a little, "Everything?" Then she asked about Australia. He replied calmly, "We keep it. Arjun can study here later, we can come back any time, nothing is lost." She nodded, her heart full. "Perfect," she whispered. And so they returned to India, first to New Delhi, then to Srinagar. And there Nisha began again, not as someone lost or searching, but as someone who had truly arrived. This chapter reminds us that sometimes the life we are meant to live is the one we create after overcoming trials, and that purpose can be rediscovered at any stage. Chapter 42, The Life She Was Meant to Live. This chapter really brings everything together by focusing on the idea of living your true, authentic life. It's about understanding what you're truly meant to do, what makes you feel fulfilled, and how to align your actions with your core values. You see, often we get caught up in what society expects or what others think we should be doing, but this chapter reminds us to listen to our inner voice. It emphasizes that living the life we're meant to live isn't about perfection or comparison. It's about embracing our unique path. And when we do that, we find a sense of peace and purpose that no external achievement can provide. This ties back to the overall theme of the presentation, the importance of self-awareness, authenticity, and courage in creating a meaningful life. So, as we move forward, I encourage you to reflect on what your true life looks like and how you can start taking steps toward living it today. And here we are at the final slide. Nisha and Vikram are finally together forever. This moment signifies a new chapter in Nisha's life, where she becomes a complete woman, a wife, and a mother. It's a beautiful culmination of her journey, emphasizing the importance of family and relationships. But what's truly inspiring is that she has also found her purpose. She thought she would serve her motherland as an army man, but her path took a different turn. Now, as the president of the Army Wife Association, she is channeling her strength, leadership, and dedication into supporting others in her community. This conclusion ties everything together, reminding us that life's true purpose can evolve, and often, it's about serving others and making a difference in the ways we least expect. It's about finding fulfillment not just in personal milestones, but also in contributing to a larger cause. Her story is a powerful reminder that our definitions of service and success can change, and that true purpose often lies in the relationships we nurture and the impact we make.